Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video here on the channel. This is Are we on week 20? I feel like we are. I'm still a little bit ill, a little bit under the weather. It's not been great, I'll be honest. It's been a rough week, but I have got lots of reading done, which is always nice. So let me share with you what I've read, what I'm planning on reading. We'll talk about new releases. It's been 20 weeks, you know the drill by now. I'll confess, I'm not entirely certain of the order I read these in, so I'm just gonna work my way through it. I finished Far From the Light of Heaven by Tade Thompson. This is our Space Sirens book pick for May, so yay, I've read it. Huzzah. This is a sci-fi. It is sort of a sci-fi. It's describing itself as a murder mystery. I would say it's more of a murder thriller, because for me, I feel like a murder mystery has a very specific way of playing out in a book, and this didn't quite have that for me. I talked about it more on Discord, but just the way that things are revealed, I really can't spoil this for you. It didn't feel murder mystery to me, it felt thriller. But it's still very, very good, very scary in the way that this kind of thing is so not something I will ever experience in my lifetime, that it's not scary, but it's tense. There's a lot of tension. We have a main character who is the captain of a spaceship that is meant to be flying basically just on AI, that is going to a colony planet, and she wakes up or is woken up, and the AI is sort of forgotten some of its things, and also there are a lot of dead bodies, and they have to figure out what's going on with that. And it's a really well-written book. I very much enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing what other people think about it. Would I have picked this up without Space Sirens? I don't think I ever would have done. I don't actually think the cover is very reminiscent of what the book itself is. I don't know, I liked it. It was a good sci-fi. There we go. I don't think it's something I'll be desperate to pick up again, but I'm glad that I read it. But yesterday evening, I finished Maroa. This was my read it in the bath and don't get out of the bath until you finish a book. Judith, you need to finish a book. This is by L.L. McRae, I believe she now goes by. And these are being re-released, but I'm reading the copies that I have because I have them, and that is the concept of overbooked here on this channel. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I had a good time. This is a fantasy world in which there are dragons, there's shapeshifters, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Airships, that's a big selling point. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I remembered it, this is going to sound mean, but I remembered it being worse than it was, in the sense that I don't read a lot of self-published fiction, and I kind of got it in my head that I read this when I was quite new to reviewing and I'd been really nice about it. But no, this is a good time. It's a good time. I had a good time. I'm excited to keep reading. I have the second book to read this week, Palom. One thing I really like about this series is that each book features a different character, as in that character kind of becomes the protagonist of that book, and it works pretty well and it keeps it interesting. Enjoying that series. I believe the whole series is called The World of Lunaria, but there will be an overbooked video in a few months. I also finished The City Inside. This is in theory, quite a short book. I think it's just over 200 and something pages, but it felt very long. It reminded me, in terms of pacing alone, very much of Siren Queen, because the two of them are quite slow paced. They take a long time to get into. There's a lot of world to set up. I don't know if I loved it. So we're in 2030s in New Delhi, and there's just a lot of the focus is on kind of social media and the kind of cyberpunk world, and sort of dystopian as well. But I didn't really get into it. I think it had a lot of the dog is crying. I think it had a lot of really interesting ideas, and there were some really good elements in there. I wasn't totally sold on some elements of it. I didn't really engage with the characters that much, and I felt like the ending was a little bit kind of flat. But I read another review where someone was like, I feel like something went over my head, and I think that might be the same for me. I liked a lot of elements, and I think a lot of the ideas are going to stay with me, and there will be other books where I'll be like, oh, this is kind of like The City Inside, because it's exploring that element. But I don't know that it's one that I'd want to read again. I just think it was a little bit hard to get into for me. I'm in the middle of two things. I'm in the middle of DUNE. Finally picking up DUNE. I am on page 226, which is the start of kind of the second section. I don't know much about DUNE, if that was originally a whole separate book. I don't know. I'm actually enjoying this so far. I think what I want to do is read it kind of on its own terms, and then I'm going to do some digging around into kind of other people's theories on DUNE and some thoughts and opinions and such. I like it. I wouldn't say it's blowing me away, nor is it the worst thing I've ever read. It's perfectly fine, having a good time. I wish I had more to say after all of these weeks of being like, one day I'll get around to reading Dune. It is that time and I don't have a huge amount to add. But maybe that's because it's early days yet. So I'm still in the middle of the Memory Librarian. I'm kind of, I think 3 or 4 stories in now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's really, really well written, very interesting world, very wonderful characters, some really sad stories, some really empowering stories. I'm very much enjoying it. I think I'm going to wait till I'm done to talk fully on that, but if you were wondering if I recommend it or not, at the moment I do recommend it. So I already mentioned that I'm going to get to Poem the rest of this week. I've also got my reread of Foundry Side so that I can read Shorefall and Locklands. Hooray, we're going to get through to them. And then I also have Animorphs 26 I need to read. I'm going to probably try and read that on Sunday, I think. And then next week I've got a whole bunch of stuff to pick up again, but I want to try and just focus on getting to Sunday at the moment. That's where I'm at. New releases, let's talk about them. I only have one new release on my list, and that is Glitterati. I ended up deciding I didn't actually want to read this at the moment. It just doesn't sound quite my thing. I think it's vaguely dystopian, but if you were interested in reading that, that is out now. Ding, ding, ding. I haven't got any book mail because I've not ordered any books because if you watched my book haul from the other day, I ordered plenty of books. Plenty of them. Ooh, so many books. One thing I have done is reorganised my entire bookish life, my TBR, my filming schedule. All of it has been reorganised because I got to, for my Patreon live stream on Saturday of last week, I just sat and I just sorted it out. It was blissful. It was a blissful hour of reorganisation and everything feels slightly more manageable, even though I am losing my voice. So if I'm a bit husky in some videos in the coming weeks, that's why. I feel like I ought to have more to say about things. I just don't at the moment because finishing stuff is all well and good. But if it was stuff I talked about last week, then I already talked about it. Let's make it a short one. Why not? We can live our best lives. You can have a short video. Welcome. What have you been up to? What have you been reading? I would love to hear that. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated, and it lets you know when I post new videos. Nothing makes me feel more loved and appreciated than my patrons over on Patreon who make videos like this possible. Thank you so much. If you would like to join their number, that's linked below, along with my social media and my Discord, should you be interested in having some cool chats about books. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. It's gonna be some bloopers now. Probably like 2 months? Shh.